I know, I'm super confused because I was deadified last week and then we'll be gone next week. And then we're basically done for the year. What?
Yeah, I know.
Miss you source page.
168.
Are we
Homework.
reading Fight the Cannon this year?
That one's weird.
That's so weird.
Well, we have two. We have.
There's so many. There's
You
so
told me
many
not to do
metaphors.
it.
Thanks, Jen.
There's so many metaphors. It's hard to tell what the actual story is and what's metaphor and similar.
I know, right?
Or an illusion.
That's really frustrating. Okay, so homework. This was a super long story, yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
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 It was like a
Approximately.
20 pages.
But it was a more complicated story, right?
It was like 200 pages.
Did anybody else, like, the first time you read it, like, wait, what?
Yeah, my mom
I was like,
oh,
oh, that's so clever. And I was like, what is clever? I don't get it.
I was like,
Especially
so
I-
these people that have been there for like 2 years, like come to.
I had to read the Spark Notes before I actually got it.
And sometimes that helps. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with using some outside resources to help you understand, as long as like that's not the only thing you ever use.
My sister,
I read it and I'm like, what? And then
My older sister had read it and she loved
Yeah,
it like 2 years ago. Like when she used the book and
So
said she
you were-
told me to read it a while ago and I read it. So
What page are you on?
Wonderful.
168.
Okay, so our homework was page 168, where we were looking at point of view shift, and tone. Number 1, what is the point of view in the open window, and how does it draw you into the story?
Oh yeah, that was
It's
so
third person limited.
So, for sure, third person. Does anybody differ on limited?
I thought it was on mission.
Actually,
I thought it was limited.
I think you're right.
I think limited is probably our best answer because we do not.
Holy crap. Yeah, I'm done.
We'll just leave that there for now.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking limited
To the professional.
because we don't know every character's thoughts at all times.
Yeah.
That will lead us into number 2, but hold on to that. So point of view, if we know like one character's thoughts at a time, how does that affect you? That's the second part of number 1. That
You kind of don't know what they're like thinking or feeling, and so it kind of gives you like, you kind of, I don't know, you kind of feel creepy. I don't know how to say it, but you know,
It's like,
just like,
yeah,
You're uncomfortable?
at first you wonder
Yes,
like how the
uncomfortable,
people
thank you.
died. Well, died.
Because if you're only in, whose thoughts are we following at
Frampton.
first? Frampton. Oh, I think
That's
that's when
such a
I
weird
joked,
name.
because last year when I was teaching this, I was pretty big pregnant with my son. I was like, I should name him Frampton. We went with Josiah instead.
I said that I was like, it kind of makes you want to read the story more because you have a more limited point of view. So like you want to be like, oh, how did they die? Why did they die? It's like, did they really die?
Yeah, so you're only stuck in one thought, Frampton's. So you're wondering, how did they die? You want to know more about that. And you're also as scared and confused as he is, basically. Right? Alright, number 2, the shift. Where does a point of view shift?
Goes to like omniscient.
So we're in Frampton's brain, and then what happens?
You
Tristan?
go to Dear
Well, he leaves. He runs for his dear life, and it changes to third
From the
person
ghosts.
objective. You just see what's happening basically, and see who's talking.
Yes. So that's one of those author things that he's having our character who's thought for following exit scene. So if he doesn't want to end the story there, we gotta shift.
Oh
So
And the last sentence was romance at short notice was your specialty.
yes,
Definitely.
That was
that was clever, and especially the wording about that's another way that you can be confused of like romance, like what? There's
short
no like
notice?
love story, huh? So yeah, that's confusing.
Like,
Okay, so our shift is
Singing line.
exactly as you said when Mr. Nuttall exits, for fearing for his life, basically. And what is the effect? So the question says, how does this change your feelings and reactions to the story?
You think he's rude and you start like freaking out. I was like, what are they?
Yeah, so you're partly scared with him, and maybe he's a little rude, and then what are you going to add?
And then once you figure out what happens, you kind of laugh at yourself and like, how did I fall for that?
Right, and then you read the rest of it, you're like, ah. Yes, how did he fall for that? How did we fall for that at first, right? Last year, my gentleman thoroughly enjoyed nitpicking the story and trying to find subtle clues as to how you could have been clued in that she was lying from the get-go. Did anybody see something
Yes.
like that?
When she says, then you know practically nothing about my aunt, and she says, do you know many people around here? And she's wondering if he knew that she was fine and that he had a husband at the time.
Yeah, so she's kind of like screaming to be like, can I make up a story right about now? Alright, we're good. We're gonna have some fun here. So she's having a little bit of fun with that. Did anybody see anything else?
Yeah, I did say that too. Like at the end of most of her sentences, she said the self-possessive girl. Like,
Yeah, that's the self-possessed girl at the very beginning
Mm-hmm.
I'm
of 15.
Yeah,
That didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
What part did it make sense?
When he said a very self-possessed young lady.
I think it's trying to say that she's very confident and maybe even acts more grown up than a 15-year-old might. So that might help make her stories more
Not really.
convincing as she seems really confident and mature and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
it's Bren saying something unsure.
I think it was kind of funny
lady.
when she's like, so when she said about the dogs where he was stuck in a grave with dogs.
Yeah, that kind of seals the
She
deal
should
that
be a writer.
clearly
That's
she's
terrifying.
a little notorious for that. Okay, and the last question for the homework number 3, how would you describe the tone of the story? So especially now that we've officially gone through the notes that we should have done before you read this story, thinking about how does the author treat all of this? Yeah.
First, kind of cheerful when he's just sitting there, but then it gets kind of eerie when she like shudders when she's thinking about it and then disappearing.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah, so that's a lot of how we feel. We're feeling creeped out, we're feeling uncomfortable.
So, and then when Mr. Knuckle looks at Vera for sympathy, when her aunt freaks out and finds her looking out the window, freaking out,
Yeah.
then he freaks out.
I
That
love
doesn't
that.
help anything.
Exactly like it actually said. It said the
Yeah.
child was staring out through the open window with a dazed horror in her eyes.
That doesn't help anything.
She should be an actor
She's
and
like-
a writer.
It's like,
Yes, so
freak
she's
out.
gonna be actor and writer.
I'll look to her because maybe she knows that her aunt is just having visions, and then she sees that he sees her, and I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, with the
She's kinda like-
installations of like, oh yeah, they'll be here any moment now.
I thought it was funny when it said a cyclist coming along the road had to run into a hedge to avoid an imminent collision.
So I think things like that show that our author has a kind of humorous tone to it. Especially even his last line of romance at short notice was her specialty. That was kind of ha ha ha.
It's easy to overlook little things like that.
Yeah, especially the cyclist, like it's just,
That's all it is.
and I'm really intrigued by
Probably
the
like
detail of her story about why he's afraid of
Yeah.
dogs. He was once hunted into a cemetery somewhere on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of pariah dogs. It had to spend like what?
How did you know that? You just met him.
it's really funny before that and it says the hall door, the gravel drive, and the front gate were dimly noted stages.
Then you
It's
see
on
like
the street.
leftover.
Yeah,
bones.
Very noted.
So I think a lot of our author's tone is that humor. So your author is finally, this was hilarious, and we are feeling that. And like, haven't you sat in a situation where you're supposed to like be waiting for somebody and you're stuck with somebody else, and you're like, well, what do I say now? Well, nice weather outside, right? Hey. So it's kind of that
Oh, yes.
awkwardness at the beginning. So we feel that with our main character, but our author's kind of like, don't you worry, this is going to be hilarious. So his tone is usually light throughout that. The quotes and examples. So things like the cyclist and the crazy elaborate detail of her lie at the end, the romance at the end. Those are all examples that you could use to show the humor. If you wanted to maybe highlight some of his diction that he's using, you could pull out some of those quotes. Some of that shows a little more of how he's trying to get us to feel the discomfort along the way. Yeah.
And then Tristan says he said the gate and the door and everything were dimly noted stages. It also said headlong retreat. So he's probably like rolling and clipping.
Diving.
Dive over the gate.
It's a really graceful,
I don't think
Really
really graceful,
courteous.
more like a mad scribble type thing.
He spent like a whole paragraph just saying he ran out the door.
That's it.
well, it gives you a lot more detail. So some of that could be a good example for number 3, the quotes and examples, if you didn't get something for that. We are about to go to our irony notes. So just want to give you any other questions, comments you want to make about the story. Things that you thought were funny, things that were confusing, things that you liked.
When it said,
Okay, so in the part when the aunt was like late to like the meeting type thing, like and so when I forgot who it was, Frampton was telling that lie, and so she was like, oh yeah, they should be in any minute, like basically, like, it's like a perfect setup
Mm-hmm.
of what she was telling a lie of they've been gone for years. She's like, oh yeah, they could be in any minute now. So it's like 2 people.
It's like she expects this every night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
also what I thought was really funny, when I said, when Frampton talked about his mental excitement or whatever, he said, announced Frampton, who labored under the tolerable, widespread delusion that total strangers and chance acquaintances are hungry for the least detail of one's ailments and infirmities, their cause and cure.
You know people like that, right? Who like to go on and on about
It's
illnesses.
like, this is
and-
wrong, that is wrong, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I like the girl's summation of him about could only talk of his illness and dashed out without a word of goodbye or apology. Okay, you can set this to the side. Actually, if you wrote your homework in the book, if you just want to leave that out and kind of stick it to the side of the desk, I'll try to scoot around and check that momentarily. So I'll also check off diagramming at the end of class too.
I read all these stories from like the early 1600s.
Maybe the book was published.
Yes, some of it might be
Fight with
our.
the Cannon is written by the same person who wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh wow.
So some of that might be the publisher's, the author of our textbook's preference. But also if you think about at this point in history, we have like thousands of years worth of writing to choose from. So just choosing really good examples of these literary elements that we're trying to learn. Whereas if we only chose from modern stuff, like that's a much smaller time period of writing to choose from. So you have less choice. So it might not be as good.
Yeah, I like the older stories, I just feel like they could have put a couple, maybe a couple.
A couple more
Modern
modern
stories.
things.
To be honest, Most Dangerous Game is pretty modern.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
And that one,
Publishers
especially
do
just
that.
because it's just like in the jungle and stuff, like it feels a lot more modern. I mean, some of the things in there are,
Even We Give to the Magic is closer to modern.
yeah, that one feels. And when
Except, like,
we
the
did
currency
read our counterpart to the Convergence of the Twain about 9/11 is obviously a little more modern. Yep.
I read a modern short story that was really funny. This guy, it was in the winter, and he really wanted to get himself arrested because he'd go to jail and get all warm. And so he kept trying to do stuff to get himself arrested, like he would steal someone's umbrella and say, "That's my umbrella." And she'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's mine, okay, fine." And then he would like hit somebody, a policeman, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's fine because it's this certain day that you let us celebrate and get drunk or whatever." And so finally he realized that he didn't want to go to jail, and they made him go to jail for some random thing.
I read
Good
a,
intro to our irony notes.
I read a modern short story about a dad who went down to the store in his pajamas to get milk for his baby. And the baby was like sick and in the hospital, and it had like a little heart monitor that he kept looking to hear the baby's heartbeat to make sure it was still alive. And along the way, the heart monitor's batteries ran out, and he like freaked out and did all sorts of crazy stuff to try to get back to his baby.
I'm glad it was just batteries dying. Alright, let's look at irony notes. I know it's kind of unfortunate timing that we have like 2 sets of notes to hit through today.
Didn't bring this home.
I don't know that.
Well, it's supposed to be open.
I feel like these notes, I mean, my copy is 3 pages long, but there's a lot that you don't actually have to write, so it's not as much filling in to this one. But irony can get confusing because there's so many bad examples of irony where people are like, oh, that's ironic, and like, no, it's just
Like
bad
rain
luck.
on your wedding day.
Yes,
In that song.
and 10,000 spoons, all you need is a knife.
Would a good example of irony be like if Donald Trump said all this stuff, like he was gonna be like a Republican president, and he gets to the White House and does things that like a Democrat would do? Would that be ironic?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Because, number one, our definition of irony is a reversal or contrast between expectation and outcome. So that's how your example of Jackson would be irony, because you're expecting the super conservative Republican and you get the opposite.
But like, if Donald Trump said he was running for law, and then he made it, and then it just made more people come in, because I want to see if they could challenge themselves to go for law.
Yeah, so that could be an ironic outcome. Yeah.
We're actually making it.
So,
They are.
breaking down irony, moving away from Trump and his wall. You can go to politics class for that. Roman numeral 2, 3 types of irony. Situational is our first one. Situational. This is
number one.
so Roman numeral 1 is defining irony. Roman numeral 2 just says 3 types of irony. So under that, we're going to list our 3 types. The first one is called situational irony. This is literally when it's the reversal or contrast of the expected outcome. There's a diagram in this book. That's page. Let me make sure I don't have this wrong. Yes. In the book, there's this diagram. You don't have to like list every word for word, but it helps to have this in one place. So that's why there's a little bit of room in your notes for you to draw this. Basically, it's events in the story combined with the audience's schema and background. Do you know what the word schema is?
Scene.
Close. Schema is like, it's fun in psychology. It's like your filter where you interpret everything through. It's really fun to see little kids with their schemas. Like my 2-year-old, especially when he was just turning 1 and barely starting to say words and things. This was actually a little after he was 1. It took him a little bit. But his little brain would go, okay, it has a tail, 4 legs, and ears. We have cats at home, so that's a cat. So we see a massive guide dog in our church lobby, and he goes, cat! Because it has 4 legs, tail, furry, ears. They're all cats. That's his schema of his filtering like information through that. So once we show him, no, that's a dog. Now he sees a, what was it? A donkey or something, and like, that's a dog. So like, no, horse. So that's all a horse. Deer, like if you see, especially without the antlers, like those are
Yes.
dogs. His 4 legs, you know. So that's his little schema of trying to figure things out. And as you learn more information, it kind of shifts some. But that's how you filter things. So you have kind of prescribed expectations of how stories should go, how happy endings work out. So as you're reading a story and you meet characters, like you kind of expect things to play out a certain way. And so that would lead to your expected outcome. But when it's irony, whoop, there is situation 2 where there's a twist of some sort. So the opposite of what you would expect. So like for Jackson's example earlier of President Trump being all Republican, saying all these very bold conservative things, you would expect that to come into play. And then if all of a sudden he was like, we're going to let all the immigrants in, they're wonderful, no wall,
no,
we're just going to open the border. So crazy examples,
If instead,
but that would be the
What
opposite.
if he actually did that?
what if instead of building a wall, we decided to build a bridge?
No. He would, what would he do? Allow the immigrants in, but he would take their land and make it part of America.
Oh.
Give them all passports.
Yeah, so if it's just like passports for everyone, wee! Like, you know, on Oprah's like favorite things where she just like, one for you, one for you, one for you.
It's just an example. I don't need Trump.
Yeah, so we're just using silly examples. We're not trying to say anything political. Okay,
Trump is
moving
a silly
on
example.
to actual examples in our story. So, examples in back to your favorite gift of the Magi.
No.
So when Jim gets his gift after Della had this hard sacrifice of cutting off all her hair, we expect Jim to be thrilled with his gift and appreciate her sacrifice. The twist is that he did the same thing and gave up his most prized possession for her. So it's like, oh, we didn't see that coming. Unless you already knew the story. And then
He's like, he's like running over the house, yelling. He's like, yes, I can finally wear a chain without the watch.
I don't have to be embarrassed. So I never liked that one.
But then I'll be even more embarrassed because I don't have the watch.
Yeah, just pretty chain.
Well,
Jim's-
when Della
Jim's-
starts crying again when she opens her gift, I'm like, not again.
Jim's sacrifice
Anyway.
was way worse.
Moving on. Purpose. So why that irony? Because of that kind of twist ending, we get the lesson that the love is more important than the actual material possessions. That kind of thing. Another example. If you're familiar with the book of Esther, the guy Haman builds 75-foot gallows to hang Mordecai, who
I
was
did not
Esther's
know
uncle.
that.
And then who ended up being executed there?
Haman.
Haman
Because he got
himself.
found out.
Hey man.
Haman.
Hey, man.
He's not
He got busted.
He got vetified.
When I was in Sunday school and I was like in fifth grade, we learned this and there was like a video. And every time someone said hey man, the video would stop and play music and they would go, hey man. It's so
And VeggieTales, it gets banished to the land of perpetual tickling.
Oh yes, I
Yes.
love that. That was so funny.
I was.
I
And he
guess
wanted all the
hangings
Jews
are
to
a
go
little
Yeah,
iffy for
all
small
the-
children.
And he wanted all the Jews to go to the island. That's what basically.
Yeah.
I loved it when they had it looked like an executioner, but they're like had the
Had
hand
the-
like
And they had a little
And
feather.
the feather chasing her neck. Anyway, second type of irony. This one you're probably also familiar with. Verbal. A reversal between what is said and what is meant. So basically, an example that you're well versed in is sarcasm. So if you're like stabbing your lunch, you're like, oh, what a lovely lunch.
But it's bright.
Yeah, you don't mean that.
fried steak.
That's
Other
what it says
example.
right there.
Who has their paper and wants to read B?
I love fried steak.
Read it sarcastically. Anybody with paper want to read B?
I don't have a
It's
I have
very
paper.
Nobody else on paper?
I
Okay.
have paper, but I don't have
B.
any words on it.
Says, my favorite pastime is cleaning my room.
I'll give you the next one.
Okay,
I'm a real Einstein. I just feel like Baptist.
nice. Let me see if I can see this example.
I'm a real Charles Darwin.
Oh, I'll have to play this example for you. Have y'all read Julius Caesar yet?
I
Oh
read
my
it.
God.
I
Yeah,
read it.
literature.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
listened to
I've
it.
only read it twice.
I'm reading
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Next week, I'm going to play you the speech so you can be reminded of the irony. It's so good.
Countrymen. Lend me your ears. I can.
Okay, moving on. An important note. There's a difference between just a flat out lie and verbal irony. So although verbal irony says what is not true, like my favorite pastime is cleaning my room, like clearly that's not your favorite pastime. But it does so by implying the opposite of what is said. So it's still like clear what the real meaning is. A lie may not have an opposite meaning. So when if you've read The Ransom of Red Chief, that was one story we used to teach irony. Kidnappers are trying to get the kid to come with them by offering him candy, and like, clearly they're not. So that was just a lie. Not like, we're going to give you candy and it's a carrot. Like, it's not an opposite meaning kind of thing. It's just
We're gonna give you a carrot.
not true.
Cake.
I wouldn't mind.
That's like my uncle called the other day and said, "Oh yeah, I was offered a free puppy," and my mom said, "Did you tell him I will not get in your van?"
Yeah, exactly. All right, our last type of irony is dramatic. So this is a little trickier. It's the reversal or difference between what the characters know and what the audience knows. So your keywords there is this is dramatic irony. It's the difference between what the characters know and what the audience knows. This is what makes scary movies and scary stories scary, because you know that the monster is coming and the characters don't. So you're like, that kind of thing.
Go behind the wall of chainsaws.
Yeah,
Like,
so you know, getting inside the running car.
Alright, let's look at some real book literature examples of dramatic irony. The first example, actually from a drama, Romeo and Juliet. It's,
Oh,
the
no.
example is in the book. In the prologue, so like the first chunk of lines in the whole play, they tell you that they're gonna die. Like they tell you how it ends in the prologue.
Oh, that's helpful.
The suspense and the purpose of it is it makes you want to read the story to figure out how does this all play out. And Shakespeare's like, he does this cool, like, you know, our plot structure just kind of goes up and like this. He builds up and then you think the tragedy is going to get fixed and then it just all falls apart at the end. And so it's like, oh, there's hope and it comes back.
Yeah.
I didn't
He's fun like that.
pretend that like he was dead, and so the person came along, killed himself. The person got him. Oh no, he's dead. He killed himself.
Yes.
That was just weird.
A lot of death.
I am sleeping. Like, Romeo, I'm gonna go to sleep. Okay.
I can't believe
Oh,
Patrick.
shit.
There's another dude.
Okay.
Oh, joke.
Jury of her peers. What is a moment when audience knows something that the characters, all the characters don't?
That made Foster working hard. Mentally, that's some of the characters.
Yes. So with the whole like finding the bird and hiding the evidence, the women know the motive, and basically that kind of signals that Minnie Foster did kill her husband, though they never directly state that. But the men don't. So we as the audience know that, and the characters do not know that completely.
And there's something that none of the characters knew.
What?
It is the baby.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
And the cab driver, they're a team now.
The baby cab driver.
Intense. The
The
baby
cab
cab
driver
driver.
was the baby, which sold the necklace.
Okay.
Yes.
Couple of clarifications, because this is when irony seems like it's easy and it gets a little complicated. So situational versus dramatic. So in situational irony, there are two situations, an expected outcome and an actual outcome. So that's when the whole, we expect Trump to be very conservative and he turns out to be crazy, secret liberal, giving out free passports to everyone. What? That would be situational irony. Dramatic irony is you have two audiences. So think of like what we just said in Jury of Her Peers. The whole group of characters, they don't all know something that we know as the readers.
Has anyone actually seen the scary movie and can give it
Oh, I saw a trailer of a really scary movie.
That was creepy.
I saw the trailer for Lights Out.
It's called
No.
It.
It was
It's
just
about.
I
it's
won't
about
even watch the
clowns.
trailer.
It's about clowns who like hide in the sewers.
it was just weird.
Ugh.
I
It's
saw
like
this.
someone's
I saw
like-
this one creepy movie, like a trailer for one creepy movie.
The trailers
And
are
it was-
scary.
Like someone just came up and said, "Hey, look, this is a creepy movie. We're never gonna watch
It
this.
was
Like, ever. Let's watch the trailer." I was like, "What now?"
It
I
was
saw the trailer for Ouija and Lights Out. Never did
that was
Yeah.
Never.
Trailers don't have to creep me out. Anyway, so to use your example of clowns hiding in sewers, lovely. So if we as the audience view the clowns in the sewer and then there's like the innocent little bunny hopping along, like they wouldn't know. We would know.
The bunny wouldn't know.
The bunny wouldn't know.
But what is the clown like the bunny in Ernest?
There we go. Now
Maybe
fun,
the
scary
bunny
story.
was actually
Okay,
the baby.
Let's move on. We have a few minutes left and then I need to check off the work stuff. So difference between irony and coincidence. Irony is always associated with a purpose. So the key word was coincidence, and then irony is always associated with a purpose. So it supports the author's theme, it adds to the character development, adds humor. So in Gift of the Magi, if he had just lost his watch on the way home, that would have been some pretty lousy luck, but it wouldn't have been ironic. Like
It
we
wouldn't be
missed
that
the
bad.
whole he sacrificed two for the sake of her and that kind of thing.
He sacrificed looking for the watch to get home on time.
There you go. Coincidence is
shots.
just chance. So irony, true irony, is a reversal of the words or the situation or the expectation. So that's your key. And that's how the whole song about isn't it ironic is ironic, because it's not actually ironic. Everything is just kind of lousy luck. It's
Yeah,
not the
They're
opposite.
all mean.
It's usually not a true opposite of what you expect.
It'd be ironic if it rained on your wedding, when you purposely pick one day out of the year for it not to rain, and it rained then? What if it just rained and rained?
Yeah,
No,
that's
and
just
then it
kinda
didn't
like,
rain the day before.
Like you
Or
look,
it'd
you look at
be-
the weather to make sure that it won't rain that day,
Yeah.
and then it rains.
Yeah, or it'd be around like if you planned your wedding and it was like outside or
On the
inside, and then you change it to or it was outside and you changed it inside because you thought it was gonna rain, then it didn't rain.
yes.
Or if we had it on the beach, no, but for
That's a bad thing.
Probably the smart.
I was actually on the news, I was getting the news about the hurricane.
Really? What?
Hurricane Sandy.
Bro.
Alright, let's finish up. Effects on the reader / reasons why we even bother to use irony. So, in your book, page 174, there's explanations for these. So, you could fill in the examples. So the first one, the bold, it makes us feel smart. So we know what's happening, everybody else doesn't. So an example for that we read is jury. If it appears, you write jury. If you've read Huck Finn, you could add that one too. We did read that one together.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The next one is to make us laugh. So open window. Ransom of Red Chief, if you read that one. Gift of the Magi. See, get that twist.
That made me mad.
It's at least comic. That's not a laugh out loud one quite as much.
This was like, ha ha ha.
Because I don't have.
Alright. C, to increase suspense. What is our big suspense story?
See you.
Oh,
Dangerous game.
Most dangerous game. Drew for peers a little bit too. It's not as big as Most Dangerous Game. That one's all about suspense. To make us empathize, to feel for somebody. Jury over peers and Most Dangerous Game, like the empathy with what it actually means to hunt animals instead of hunting humans, to get that twist. To shock us is Magi, Most Dangerous Game.
Because everybody was shocked in the necklace also because it was the baby.
Yeah, you got that too. F is to persuade us, or that means to think of something new, or think of something from a new angle. So convergence of the twain, jury, Most Dangerous Game, reinterpreting what hunting is really like. And we didn't read burning up for
Burning a what?
that. That's another poem.
Burning
We didn't do that one.
Was it sad?
It's a Puritan poem, so we did the sermon instead. But in that, she talks about the sadness of she lost her house, but she recognizes it's material things. Material things don't last. Her hope is truly in God, where in heaven, where she'll have her wealth will never end, kind of thing.
That's not
So-
sad.
Yeah. So the persuasion in that is you don't have to is to let go of your material things. And last one, to illustrate the theme. So we talked about going back to the gift of the Magi, for example, that if he had just lost his watch on the way home, we would lose the theme, essentially, from the story.
Della would probably be like, of course you knew.
What if he sold his hair?
I don't think he gives a lot of money.
The lady
for
would be, the lady would be like, dude, this is worth like 50 cents. Like, what? Yeah,
Let's see a
Go to the
lawyer.
store.
Go buy
it.
Go buy a pizza street.
I want 50 cents a strand.
Then you get like $1 million.
Maybe 50 cents to sweep this up.
I'll be like, I'm gonna be bald forever.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just walk around really fast and check off. If you have the diagramming, I put it on the board this week because I don't think Mrs. Lawson announced it.
She did.
Okay.
And I did it this week.
But it was on the syllabus. So if you have it, I'll check it off and you're done with diagramming. You don't have to do any of the breaks.
This one I actually
And
understood.
I'm going to check off
I
that
don't think I would understand.
your book assignment that went with the open window, the 168 assignment. So if you have them both, leave them both out on your
I
desk.
actually understood this, except for the part where, you know, the stick figure's head was gone.
Good. I feel like it kind of helps if there was like 2 rounds and then
Oh yeah, it's in the third.
Do you have the book assignment?
Oh no. Well, I have it done.
Yeah.
But I forgot it.
Oh.
I remembered it last week, and I was like all ready, and I came in, I was like, she's not here.
Mrs. Schuster?
Mhm.
Can I go to Smithfield?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's funny because it's funny at home. Like I expect like why isn't my littlest sister doing the chores? And I thought, wait a second, she's 6. And it's like I keep on thinking like it's so unfair. But then it's hard for me to remember. Like everybody else is like old enough to be doing chores, but she's only 6.
I have a 6-year-old sister. She's studying.
I have a 7-year-old brother.
2 months ago.
I have a 20-year-old.
She's not very good at it.
Does she
Because she's not very good at it.
Well, she has
I
her
end
own
up
house.
all of it.
She shares it with like
I
seven
know.
It
people,
doesn't mean I
so
get extra money.
it's pretty
My
clean.
little sister,
My brother's house is
my
really
younger sister, no, not my youngest sister, but
I'm worried
My
about
younger
since
brother's
moving into
7,
a house
and I
for
have to
college
clean up his
this
room
year.
for him, but
Like,
I still
two of
think
his
it's
friends.
Wait,
Dude,
no,
He's
there's
not getting
so-
I
Oh.
am in his room and they say
I would be a millionaire right now.
I
I
don't
could
go
get
into
paid
his
$10.
room. It smells so bad.
Dude,
Alright, did y'all have any questions on infinitives in our last moment together?
That
What about that?
is like just
I'm gonna go over to his house. I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw
I think that's the one that
Hey,
Henry-
Jackson, can me and Tristan come over to our house and do chores for you?
And me.
Yeah, sure, I'll pay you $30 an hour.
I got a job.
And I'm filthy rich. I have a 3-story house.
I know, I have too much money because I babysit and I have a snack shop. And so, I mean, I don't know what to do with it because I won't find
You
Just
just
save
donate
it
it
all.
to the
I
Henry
know,
Family.
everyone's like, better than Meg. I'm like, no, I can't.
Donate it to the
I
Henry
have
Family.
$25.
We're accepting donations.
My brother's room smells like good because he puts their hair in it.
That's
My brother
smart.
did.
I
He
did
has a
too.
diffuser in there.
No, you need to
And
put
he's like
cedar,
24/7.
like a cedar log.
I got a job.
Oh, wait,
I
did
have
you mean
mine
to
on
look at
monitor.
page 168?
That's cool.
Oh, that's what I thought,
I charge $10 an hour, so.
Alright, so homeworking, you'll have vocab words posted online, there's
Okay,
14 of them. You'll have a exercise in your book, and I think all of you basically did your diagram, so you're good on that.
Here's
Um,
page 168.
Email me if you missed any of the setting, essay, the narrative, perspective, paragraph, any of that stuff that was due today. Okay, and if you're good on that, then you're dismissed. Have a happy break.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Guys, school is over.
Let's go home.